Rev up your engines!
Well, Cadillac says they're coming out with a $54,000 electric car called the Optiq EV. At least they give it a name. It's not ID.4 or some ridiculous number and letter count. At least it's got a name, Optiq, okay? I'll give them that. They give it a name. And of course, they're pushing the thing out, trying to get people to buy them. And these PR guys write, it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Horse manure. Americans don't want this crap. They can push it all they want. Most Americans aren't interested. And listen to the horse manure that's in it. They say when the battery gets low, DC fast charging can add 79 miles of range in just 10 minutes. It's still twice what it takes to fill your car, and it's only 79 miles of range, right? They claim it has 300 estimated range. Almost 4 times the range that you got in 10 minutes. So right there, it's telling you it's going to take you at least 40 minutes to get a full charge, but that's not the half of it. You'll only get 80% charge because once the fast chargers charge them up to 80%, they got to slow themselves down to go from 80 to 100, or the batteries will overheat, probably blow up and start on fire, right? That's why they give you all these lying figures about 80%. They tell you, here's the range, but don't exceed 80% or it's going to take you forever and it'll lessen the life of the battery, right? These things have so many problems, these electric battery cars. Why they're even pushing them out still is beyond me. Oh, 10 minutes, you get 79 miles of range. Whoop-de-doo. And that's at a fast DC charger. Even if you have a stage 2 charger at your house, it's still going to take 4 to 6 hours to do that. And if you only have 110 volts, it will take the better part of a day and a half to do it. So, it's all fantasy. They can pay all these writers to say how great the stuff is, but the average American, when they look at this stuff and they see guys like me explaining it, they're like, who's going to work on these things? I got to keep plugging it in all the time. What if I'm stuck somewhere? It runs out of electricity. I can't jump start it, then I'll have to have it towed somewhere. They're just hassle machines. Well, you think it's made up, but it's real now. The Chinese military has shown off a robot dog with a machine gun rifle stuck on top of it. During recent drills with the Cambodian army, the Chinese now showed off a robot dog with an automatic rifle mounted on its back. And there it is. But of course, they're showing off stuff. Let's go pragmatic. Got an automatic rifle, a clip with bullets. What happens when I run out of bullets? Is this dog going to be able to reach over its back, get another clip and throw it in? Doesn't look that way. It'd be a very limited usage of the thing, right? They run out of ammo, that's it. They're like a soldier. They keep popping new ones in. When they run out of bullets, they're pretty much dead meat there. Then they're going to be blown up. They don't have any weapons to shoot at with. The Chinese said this robot dog can serve as a new member of our urban combat operations, replacing our human members to conduct reconnaissance, identify the enemy, and strike the target, says Chen Wei, Chinese soldier. Okay, so now we have robot dogs with assault rifles bolted onto their back, right? Just what we need. Hey, we better watch out. The Terminator's getting closer and closer here. Only maybe it won't be Arnold Schwarzenegger, it'll be robotic dogs instead. But at least it's not a fully independent robot, as they said. The dog walked, hopped, lied down, and moved backwards under control of a remote operator. And when you look at this picture, really, it looks like something from Star Wars, right? Only it's small, because it's a dog. It's not a big giant platform, it's a dog. Watch out for robotic Chinese dogs invading us. Dead man says I got an 02 Honda Civic, it won't stay running. I left my lights on, the battery died. And for some reason, the 80 amp fuse blew. After trying to jump it, I changed the fuse, and now the car won't stay running unless you keep the jumper box on. Car's 170,000 miles on it. Okay, you left your lights on, you drained the battery. So here's what you're gonna have to do. Put a charger on your battery overnight. I'll give you a perfect example. A person just told me a 2008 Honda Civic. The battery was flat dead, there was nothing, 0 when I checked the voltage. I plugged a small charger in it and it got to 75% charge, which is enough to make it run, but it took 14 hours. I did it at dinner time, and then the next morning when I woke up and finished exercising, I checked it at 75%, it was fine, it worked, right? So first thing you're gonna do is that, and then if it works, it'll stay running without the jumper box on it. If it doesn't, then you need a new battery. If you drain a battery down to nothing and it's an old battery, that could finish it off, right? But realize, like I just said, it takes many hours with a small battery charger to charge up a dead battery. It might take 14 to 24 hours to get a full charge. Normally, if you put it on overnight, that's good enough that it will start and run and the alternator will recharge it. So start there, and if that doesn't work, get another battery. Well, believe it or not, there is going to be a hydrogen fuel cell motorcycle out there. Suzuki partnered up with Bergman. Bergman makes those cool scooters, right? They can go real fast. Here's a picture one. They're really cool. The regular ones have regular motorcycle engines in them. They can go real fast, right? Well, now they have one that is a hydrogen fuel cell, which is interesting. Of course, they don't pollute and all that stuff. Now, strangely enough, way back in 2005, Suzuki made some little scooters. They didn't sell hardly any of them. It was more experimental than anything else. Here's the gigantic butt of the whole thing. They don't give you anything on the price. They're not out yet. They're trying them out, right? But they said, on a full tank of hydrogen, it goes 200 kilometers. So what, the thing's got a range of 112 miles or something? That is squat, right? And then to top it off, its maximum speed is 80 kilometers an hour. That's what, 45 miles an hour? Let's face the facts. Hydrogen, you got to get the fuel to begin with, which is a hassle. Then you'd have to have all the stations, right, which is a hassle. And in the case of this stupid thing, it's only got a range of 200 kilometers, so you'd have to be stopping all the time to fill it up with hydrogen, and there's hardly any hydrogen things out there anyways. They'd have to build zillions of them, right? It's interesting technology, but for practical usage, no, it isn't good for practical usage. They're just putting in a motorcycle because they can, right? And somebody will want to say, I got a fuel cell motorcycle. Some rich guy go out and buy one, whatever price it is, and he's going to have some kind of hydrogen station around him or have his own hydrogen delivered to his own tank. You have to be really rich for this thing. It's very interesting technology, but if it's going to affect the regular me and you drivers, I doubt it at all. Not for a really long time, if ever. Now, here's why the government shouldn't run anything, right? Veterans who served at a secret base said it made them sick, but they can't get aid because the government won't acknowledge that they were there. On this Air Force base, they were doing secret squirrel stuff with Russian jets, radioactive materials and stuff. This was a classified mission that was in the Nevada desert in a place called Area 52, the Tonopah Test Range. Enlisted guys, they had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. They couldn't tell anybody it was happening, right? As this one guy, Eli, says, upholding the national interest is more important than my own life, he said. He was 20s when he was working there, now he's 63, and he says he was exposed to all kinds of radiation, his health's going down the toilet, and the government won't do anything about it because we don't know if they were there. For decades, the government had nuke bombs tests there. Even a federal environmental assessment in 75 said the test scattered toxic radioactive material everywhere. This guy says, scarred my lungs, I got cysts in my liver, I got lipomas, tumors, my lining in my bladder was shed. Now, all these years later, his service record showed all the assignments that he had except the mission inside Tonopah Test Range. So he can't even prove that he was there. They made him sign a non-disclosure and they won't even admit anything. And here's what the guy says. There's a slogan for us. Deny, deny until you die. Kind of true here, he said. They want to deny that the people were there so they don't have to pay, right? Now, other employees who worked in that same area have been aided by $25.7 billion federal assistance. But that doesn't apply to these Air Force guys, because they signed these non-disclosure agreements and they pretended that these guys didn't even exist. When contacted for comment, the Department of Defense confirmed he served there, but they wouldn't say where. Ridiculous. There's the government for you. These guys are working, put their life on the line, testing all this stuff, working in the nuke area. Then when there's a problem, other people get paid, but not them. Well, we didn't have any record of being there because we hid the whole thing. That's just ridiculous. This is why you don't want the government running things, right? They have no idea what they're doing. Well, there, I guess, 3 or 4 guys were thrown off an American airline plane because they smelled. And they were later let back on the plane. No notion of whether they took a shower or whatever, brushed their teeth before they came back on. But they're now suing them, saying that it was racially motivated. Now, I have no idea. I wasn't on the plane. I wasn't there to smell people, right? But believe it or not, American Airlines has rules. One of the rules is their contract of carriage does allow passengers to be removed if they smell bad, as it requires passengers to be respectful that your odor is an offense unless it's an illness or disability. I want to know, did these guys really smell, Hey, if they did, well, what slobs? If you didn't know it, American Airlines has this rule. If you stink and you're smelly like a hobo hasn't taken a bath in 6 months, they don't have to let you on the plane. Hey, I've sat next to some smelly people on planes in my time. Now I know there's a rule. Now, I rarely fly American Airlines. They charge too much and they don't fly to places I want to go. But if I do and somebody really stinks, I will make a complaint. Now I've got somewhere to go. I realize that, hey, if somebody really stinks, you can get them off the plane. They have a rule for that, right? Of course, if the person who stinks knows the rules, they could just make up a thing and say, well, I have a health issue and that's why I smell. Instead of, hey, I'm too lazy to take a shower and I stink, right? And the funny thing is, you saw that one guy got thrown off the planes because he was passing wind and laughing about it, and they threw him off the plane, right? Well, little does he know, the very fact that he did it, stunk it up laughing, they can throw him off. It's an offensive odor, right? So, hey, I guess if you sit next to somebody who just had Taco Bell and you're there for 4 hours and they start stinking it up, hey, you get them thrown off the plane, I guess. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.